We got our parts in for our gearbox. We have the 2 seals. We have 3 new bearings. So what we're going to do, we're going to press the gear into the new bearing. And it goes in pretty good by hand. We'll be able to take a rubber mallet hammer and try and mash it on in. Should have came out as easy as it went in. Now it's seated down there pretty good as far as it's going to go. It's where it was before on the old one. Now I'm going to take my shaft. It is the one that takes the keyway. And you got a little groove up here. It's for the snap ring. This bearing and this gear goes on top. And I'll take a rubber mallet hammer and tap it on. See, that went on really smooth. Now I'll go ahead and take the lock ring and put it on there. Snap ring's on. Bearing turns really good. Now I'm going to take the other shaft. The gear goes on this side. We're going to put this bearing on this side. All these bearings are different. They're all different sizes. We're going to put some lubrication on this shaft right here, and I'm going to tap this shaft into the bearing. I am using a rubber mallet hammer to do this with because I don't want to booger up the end of the shaft. There we go, it's in. Doesn't take a lot of force. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this seal right here in the bottom of this where the shaft actually comes out that goes down to the blade. Try and push it around a little bit. This should just go right in. Tap it a little. Make sure it's flush all the way around. What we're going to do next is take this ring that came out, drop it down in here. Okay, it's set down in there. Now we're going to put some lubrication on our bearing before we push it down inside the housing. I'm going to tap on the top of the shaft and get it to go down in, and we'll try and keep it centered. Oh, there it went. It fell down in. I didn't even have to tap it. So that's in, and as you can see, it's past the seal, so that's worked out really well. Didn't have to do any hitting on it or anything. I'm going to go ahead and push this bearing in. Straight on through almost, okay. We got the bearing down in there. This side here only gets one of these small, thin washers. I'm going to go ahead and put this snap ring back in there to keep the bearing from coming back out. Okay, the snap ring is in there, not too bad. Snapped right in. And I'm going to go ahead and push the bearing back against it. You can pretty much do it with your finger or your thumb because these bearings fit in there really good. Now it's right back where we want it. So what I want to do at this point, I want to go ahead and put the gear inside here. Get it lined up here. I'm going to drop this in from the top, right here. I'm going to tap it in, then I'm going to line the teeth up. And I'm going to get the other end of the shaft to go through the bearing. I have a 36mm socket here. This bearing can only go so far, it won't go all the way through. And it went on just as easy as the rest of the bearings. It's down in there. That side is seated. It's moving good. I'm going to go ahead and put these 3 thin washers in there. I think they're more like spacers. They go right inside there like this. Now I'm going to put the snap ring in. Now that we got our spring clamps in, everything's good. Everything turns like it should. Everything's solid. Now we're going to go ahead and put on the other seal. Pushing down in there pretty good, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to take our 32mm socket, put it on there. Okay, we got the seal flush. Now I'm going to put the caps on it. Okay, now we'll go ahead and peck this one on here. Okay, now we'll go ahead and put it up here, snug it down a little bit, make sure it's level. Now we got everything on here. We're going to take out this bolt right here. It takes a 12mm because when fluid runs out of this hole here, that means it's full. Snug your clamp down a little bit, or your vise, so this don't fall on your toe. It would hurt. Now we have to take this one over here off. It's a 22mm. Now we're going to put some gear oil in it. We're going to put some 80W90 gear oil in it. As I fill this up, oil should come out of that top hole right there. That will indicate that it is full. This bottom one is your drain plug. If you need to change it, there it is. Pull this out. You can see it starts dripping out. Plug back on, and don't forget the little gasket that goes with it. I got my gearbox, got my spacer, and my keyway is right here. I'll pull it out and put my keyway right in here. I'm going to bring my pulley down on top of it. Make sure it's lined up. There we go. Now my spacer goes right there. And we'll drop it down in this hole. I'll make sure that my gear is facing toward the back. Put my bolts in it, lock it down. Now let's put our little gear looking thing back on our shaft here. Now we got the little snap ring we got to put back on this to keep it from falling off. Okay, we got the snap ring back up in there. Here we go. We got the nice shiny new cap to put on there. And we're going to put new blades on here.